Thanks, Mike, and thanks very much for the invite here this evening. Although it has been a hectic day, I've driven down from Lancashire, got stuck on the M25, panicked everybody here, obviously because I was late. So, but I'm here now. So, and I'm proud to be here. Proud as Unison's president, a president that's worked in the police and justice sector for nearly 30 years. I'm proud to be supporting this NAPO and Unison-led public meeting to raise our voices against the government's misguided plans to reform the probation service. And at the outset, let me say that Unison does not accept that the plans are a done deal. A lot of water has got to go under the bridge before Chris Grayling, the Justice Secretary, gets what he wants in transforming rehabilitation proposals. And he has got a lot of people to convince that his plans are right. Unison and others are opposing them with all our might. When we surveyed our probation members last month, 99% of them said that they were opposed to the government's reform of the agenda for probation. Over 3/4 of our members said that they are willing to take industrial action if necessary to protect their job, their services and their paying conditions. So Unison is currently updating our probation membership records in readiness for any industrial action ballot that may be needed later in the autumn. And we will be working with our sister trade union NAPO, and proud to do so, with whom I am pleased to say that we have signed a joint accord in relation to the working together in this campaign against the transforming rehabilitation. We are getting ready. Unison has over 4,500 members working for probation trusts across England and Wales. They carry out vital work, protecting the public from harm, helping offenders turn their lives around and looking after the interests of victims. Probation works. It works because although it is a small national agency, just 16,500 staff across 16,500 staff across the whole of England and Wales, it is the glue that sticks the justice system together, binding the work of police, local authorities, health trusts and community and voluntary sector organisations. I work for Lancashire Police. I know you won't hold that against me. I know that protecting communities requires seamless working between my force and the Lancashire Probation Trust to protect my community from those most dangerous offenders supervised under MAPA arrangements. But if Chris Grayling gets his way, Lancashire Probation Trust will be abolished and merged with the Cumbria Trust to create a new community rehabilitation company. This threatens to destroy all the good local public protection partnerships that have been built up over so many years in my force area, and I'm sure in your areas too. Remember, probation is not a failing service. It's been said by Simon, it's been said by Caroline. But that's not to say that some aspects of the service could not be improved. In opposing the government's plans, it is always important to say what our alternative is. So tonight, I want to talk about 3 things. Firstly, what are the government plans? Secondly, why we are so opposed and what we're doing about it. And thirdly, what is our alternative vision? Firstly then, what are the proposals set out in transforming rehabilitation? The Justice Minister wants to split probation to create into 2 to create small national public probation service. Let's call it the National Probation Service and 21 community rehabilitation companies, or CRCs for short. The National Probation Service will deal with all high-risk work, court work, approved premises and victims work. The CRCs will deliver all of the rest of the probation's current offender management, caseload, interventions and programmes, together with supervision of offenders leaving prison after short-term sentences. In this part of the world, this will mean that abolition of the Surrey-Sussex Probation Trust and the merger of your operations with those of Kent to create a massive South East CRC. Nearly a third of probation staff will be transferred to the National Service, and over 2/3 will work for the CRCs. That is, if there are any staff left to transfer. Surrey, Sussex, Thames Valley are hemorrhaging staff, dedicated professional staff who know that privatisation of this service will not work. This week, Unison and NAPO national representatives have been locked in intensive negotiations with the Ministry of Justice and the probation employers to see if some sense can be made out of this complex split of staffing to protect the interests of our members. In the autumn of next year, the CRCs will be sold to the private sector. The existing probation trusts will be prevented from bidding to run the CRC contracts because the government has cynically designed the payment by results contracts to exclude public sector bidders. This type of share sale has never been tried before, and there is no legal precedent for us to follow in respect of protecting staff interests. The government is claiming that the staff-led mutuals have a chance of securing some of the contracts, but Unison is sceptical about their success, particularly in the medium to long term. So why are we opposed to these plans? Our probation members choose to work for a local public sector probation service delivering vital services to local people. They do not want to deliver profits for shareholders or work for companies that bank their profits in tax havens. They did not want to work for companies that, as the Justice Secretary's recent announcement regarding the overcharging by G4S and Serco on their tagging contract shows, are more interested in bottom line profits than serving the public. There is actually no evidence that private sector can carry out the tasks of the probation service any more efficiently or effectively than the public sector can. There is no evidence that payment by results will work. It has not been properly tried and tested. In fact, the Justice Secretary's plans are wholly ideological and also based on a crude cuts agenda. He wants to deliver the new community supervision of under 12-month prisoners, a provision which we heartily agree, out of the same pot of money that currently supports the existing probation service. What's got to give? In this equation, it's easy for us to guess. Staffing levels and paying conditions. New probation workers will have to be employed on inferior terms and conditions in a race to the bottom of quality. Training standards will have to take a hit, as you can't get skilled staff for bargain basement pay. But there are other problems with the plans as well. Creating the 21 CRCs will cut across existing public sector boundaries, as the geographical link between probation and police and local authorities is lost forever. The Secretary of State assumes that all controlling power is in this new world as a remote commissioner of services far away from the local communities that need to be involved in the design of a vital public protection service. Police and crime commissioners and local authorities both cut completely from the commissioning process. No local accountability at all. Probation, 105 years in the making, could be just 2 years in the breaking. But not if we can stop it. The government's defeat in the Lords, as we've heard, over the Offender Rehabilitation Bill in June was a great victory, requiring the government to bring any proposals of reform to the structure of probation to both houses of Parliament for approval. Of course, the government will try to overturn this and defeat the bill when it comes to Commons in October, but it's our job to lobby MPs to seek a government defeat, to inform the public of how this could affect them, encourage them to contact their MPs and tell them what a difference it's going to make to their lives. With a public voice behind us, we can win this fight. We have to encourage members to write to their MPs and the police and crime commissioners. We want all members to sign the parliamentary e-petition against the probation privatisation. If necessary, we will be balloting, as I've said, our members to protect their jobs, their services and their paying conditions. But first, what's our alternative vision? Probation is above all else a local service. It gains its strength from the links with the police, the local authority, the health trust and the community voluntary sector organisations. The government's plans will fracture all of these relationships and put local partnership working at risk. Unison supports the concept of primary justice. This concept we have developed with the local government information unit argues a greater proportion of Ministry of Justice funding should be delegated to a local level to allow police and crime commissioners and or local authorities to commission probation services much closer to the communities that these services protect and serve. Probation Trust would need to be free to bid to run these services in association with police forces and local authorities. There could, at long last, be a proper democratic accountability for probation by a local political process. Primary justice rests on the principles of local control, democratic control, cooperation and a public partnership. To conclude, the fight to save the probation service is well and truly on. We have the support of our members. NAPO have the support of their members. We have a joint working of the highest quality. We have the support of many in Parliament, but we may have to take action if we don't get the assurances that we're looking from government to protect our members' interests. That's when we will need you and your understanding and support from all those who work within the service, but most of all, we need the public to understand that any action we take is for their benefit, protecting a service that is provided to them. No union asks its members to undertake industrial action lightly, but sometimes you need to stand up in what you believe in. And for the probation service, the time is now. Thank you.